The Florida Panthers head coach made a decision last night that was pure genius and it got the team the win. I'll go over what he did. And there's a guy on the Florida Panthers who's been a thorn in the side of the Toronto Maple Leafs for years. I'll tell you who he is and what he has done to cause the team so much frustration. And guys on the Panthers finally stepped up who weren't stepping up in the first two games. The Stars finally came out last night, and Bobrovsky, man, did he make some big saves in overtime, and he helped get this team the win. We'll go over some of his numbers and how he played last night. Guys, what an entertaining game. If you like the Panthers, if you like the Leafs, or you hate both teams, it doesn't matter. I would say it's probably one of the most entertaining games in the playoffs so far this year. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I am Greg Andrews. This is Panthers Digest. Hit that subscribe button down below because you need to stay up to date with anything and everything that has to do with your defending Stanley Cup champion, Florida Panthers. Guys, again, what a game last night. Exciting from start to finish. I was at the edge of my seat. I just didn't know what I was going to expect next. It was left and right action. Everywhere that I looked on the ice, there were hits. There was jawing. I mean, it had a little bit of everything last night. Extremely entertaining. Extremely entertaining. Both goalies played great games. They did have a couple lapses here and there, but it was an incredible matchup. And this is just, I think we're just really starting to get started now because with the Panthers figuring things out of how to play against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who have been playing phenomenal hockey in these first three games, we have ourselves a series now. 2-1 in favor of Toronto right now, but that could change tomorrow night. Game is at 7:30 tomorrow on Mother's Day. So guys, mark it on your calendars. So 5-4 overtime win. Brad Marchand, the Rat, scores, gets the win. The thorn in the Leafs side, and he always has been. Man, I hate to say it, you guys, and I feel for you Leafs fans, man, because he was a thorn in the side for the Panthers too. So believe me, I feel you. But man, Marchand and that Lundell-Luostarinen line has been nothing short of absolutely fantastic in the series. They have been, like I said, that bread and butter line for the Panthers. They have been scoring the goals. They've been getting the assists. They have been causing havoc for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They just don't really have an answer on how to stop that line when they match up. Exciting. But that's the guy, Brad Marchand. He is the guy who's been leading this team in the playoffs so far in this series. And I think he's just warming up now. Really, I do. I mean, the way he's been skating, the puck handling, his ability to boost up his teammates, he's been nothing short of spectacular. That line has just been gelling. The chemistry has been nothing short of amazing, guys. So as we're looking at this, these are the stats from the game. Shots are pretty close to one another, but look at the hits. Yes, it went into overtime. That's why the hits are so massively high for the Panthers. It's 62-43. But the one spot, and I've talked about this before, that needed to change was the Panthers needed to get that face-off win percentage number up. And thank you to some of the Maple Leafs fans who left some incredible comments about, hey, we've got guys that just win in the face-off circle. That's what they do in Matthews, especially him. I mean, he's got an incredible winning face-off win percentage, not just in the playoffs, but also in the regular season. He's just a stud in the circle. We found a way to win in the circle last night. 46% is a heck of a lot better than the 38-39% average we had in the first two games. And I said, if they were able to bring that up, they would have a better chance to win a game and probably win the game. And they did. Also, the blocked shots went up. They had 14 in the game. And they found a way to draw the Maple Leafs off of that line when they are trying to find some open lanes to shoot on wall. They did. And you could see it here because they don't have 25 blocked shots. And in overtime, when I saw this stat sheet, I expected like 30 blocked shots. To me, it felt like the Leafs kept blocking shots. But they didn't get that many blocks. 20 blocked shots with an overtime period, about 15 minutes of overtime, give or take. I was expecting more. So the Panthers were able to draw them off that line that's in front of wall where they have bodies there to try to block shots. And again, I said it's kind of a double-edged sword where you're screening your goalie, but those guys stand there big and tall and they want to block the shot so their goalie doesn't have to do it. You know, put that body in between the offensive player and their goaltender, you give yourself a better shot to not allow the other team to score a goal. So, giveaways, takeaways, pretty even. I mean, the rest of the stat sheet, there's not really much to say. But the blocks and the faceoff percentage are better than they have been, and I think that was one of the keys to the game that helped the Panthers get the W last night. But the biggest thing I want to talk about, guys, in a second, is this. So Jonah Gadjovich scored his first goal in his playoff debut last night. Third skater in Florida Panthers history to tally their first postseason game since Owen Tippett. Wow. And Peter Worrell. And the one thing I want to show you here, guys, is that name is not that familiar to anybody right now because they changed the line. That fourth line was changed. There was no Samoskevich or Sturm or Bovquist. Those guys were taken out. In comes Greer, Nosek, and Gadjovich. They came in. Gadjovich had the goal. They had great energy. They had some great forward checking. They did great as a fourth line, and they put themselves out there, and they really helped their team. But the genius that happened last night was Paul Maurice changing up the lineup matches with Toronto's. It wasn't line one against line one, line two against line two. He got sneaky. After that wraparound goal that happened, everything changed, guys. Barkov's line, instead of going against the Matthews line, they switched. Paul Maurice's mindset was, I want to see what'll happen. Instead of having Reinhart and Barkov and Rodriguez skating all over the place and chasing Matthews and chasing Nyes and chasing Marner, they didn't do that. Instead, they were against Pacioretty, they were against Nylander and Tavares. And it worked. It worked, guys. That line, that switching that up, and they also went against the Domi line, and they scored there. Reinhart had a goal against that. Barkov had the goal. He did have the goal against the Matthews line, and he was falling down and got a little bit lucky because it went off the stick of the defender. But still, the changing of the lines made a big difference because that second line for Toronto didn't have an answer for the Barkov-Reinhart line, especially because Barkov and Reinhart, the Selke award winner, not award winners, like Barkov has won it twice, maybe the third time this year, and it looks like he will win it again. But those two guys are in the running for it this year together. So defensively, that line did a phenomenal job to stop that Tavares-Nylander line. And they really shut him down last night. They did a great job defending that. And then when they switched up everything and the Bennett-Tkachuk line, just switching everything up made the difference for this team. Toronto did not have an answer. And the biggest problem for the Panthers last night was the same thing they've been facing this whole series. Turnovers, odd man rushes. How many times were there breakaways or odd man rushes again last night? That, again, has been the Achilles heel of this team those first two games, and it almost was again last night, especially in overtime. But thanks to Bob, I think he had 2 stops, I believe, that were pretty much breakaways. One was Nylander. I can't remember who the other one was, so excuse me for that. But 2 ginormous saves in overtime by Bobrovsky that helped his team get the win. So, Marchand's OT winner. Because of that, Carter Verhaeghe now has 7 career postseason overtime points. He's the only. Patrick Kane has 8. He's got 1 more in the league right now for active NHL players. Pretty big number. Carter Verhaeghe is a stud. He's kind of been quiet in the series, but I think he's going to start heating up again. I do think these lines, how they match up together, Paul Maurice has started to see what lines can skate and keep up with the Matthews line. That line is so fast, so quick. Their passing is deadly. Every time I'm watching these games, I'm seeing these ultra crisp, beautiful passes by Toronto. Florida looks a little bit sloppier with their passes. They were 100% behind in that first 5 minutes of the game yesterday, and I think every Panthers fan was biting their nails and just shaking their heads. Oh, God. 27 seconds in the game, first goal. A few minutes later, another goal with the wraparound. I mean, it was hard to watch in that first 5 minutes, but again, this team has been resilient for the last 3 years. And they were again last night. And it was awesome to see. I never faulted on it. Yes, I was a little worried, but the thing is, I had faith in this team. It's been pretty incredible to watch. And I think game 4 will be a very similar style of hockey to game 3. And it's going to be ultra physical again. And there were some kind of bad calls by the refs or miscalls. Lundell got a clear stick to the face, and by the NHL rules, should have been called a penalty. And the referee said that it was a follow through. Clearly wasn't a follow through because the puck was in midair. He took a swipe at it and missed, and he hit Lundell in the face, and they didn't call anything. So horrible miscall there. Horrible miscall, guys. And you can't tell me otherwise. It was clear as day. Look at that. Stick to the face. Look at his head turning to the side. You guys can't tell me that's not a high sticking call. Come on, guys. Even you Toronto Maple Leafs fans, you can't tell me that should have been called a high stick. Just like a lot of you have agreed and said, yeah, up here in Toronto, we also think the Rodriguez embellishment call was total BS, because it was. The referees have been really, really hard on the Panthers, and I think that's because of their physicality, and they're trying to stop any sort of injuries. I get it. They're trying to stop, this ultra style of, trying to fisticuffs, and, there haven't been a lot of scrums and things like that. It's a little bit different style hockey. I know we're in the playoffs, but it's not what I think we're used to seeing like in the regular season against these two teams. I mean, this is physical playoff hockey. It's fast, it's brutal, but it's cerebral. That's what I love about this game when we're watching these two teams go against each other. It is a dogfight, but it's putting those certain pieces together and matchups, man. And it has been so great to watch these two coaches go against each other as well. A lot of fun, guys. But that, my goodness, was ridiculous. So I wanted to show you guys the stat line. This is from game number 2. I circled the plus minus because look at all those little dashes in front of the numbers in the plus minus category. Those minus signs aren't good. You guys all know what the plus minus means. And look at the TOI for Seth Jones and Forsling. Look at the amount of ice time there. Seth Jones has always been on the ice for more time than any other defender on the Florida Panthers. But pay attention again for that plus minus. I'm going to switch over to last night's game. Look at that. Plus minus. One guy was -1. Everybody else was positive or at 0. And then look at the assists. There were 10 assists in last night's game. That is more than game number 1 for the Maple Leafs in total and game number 2 for the Maple Leafs in total. I think there was 8 respectively in game number 1 and 9 respectively in game number 2, if I can recall when I did the research on this. The Panthers had 10 assists last night. That's an incredible number. And then look at the TOI for Seth Jones. Almost 31 minutes. Yes, there was overtime, but 31 minutes on the ice. And then Forsling, 28 minutes. That's insane for defenders. That's insane amounts of time to be on the ice. But those guys work so hard. They've helped this team grind out to get that big time win. And man, I think they're going to keep cruising. They got to stick to what worked last night. I think Paul Maurice might make a couple other lineup changes, but things worked pretty well. Again, he's got to match speed for speed or physical play. I said it. They were physical last night, and it picked up as the game went on and just got more physical. They were body on body. They were really throwing the hits at the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, 62 hits is a lot. Even with overtime, without overtime, it's a lot. They were probably somewhere, I would say, probably in the mid to low 50s for the hits before overtime started. But awesome game last night. Even if you're a Leafs fan and you hate the Panthers, you cannot deny the fact that that was probably one of the best games you have seen in the playoffs this year. Incredibly exciting, guys. And so, brings me to this, guys. Even John Tavares said, the Barkov and Reinhart line, facing those guys, wow, are they tough. Great instincts, great sticks. They knock pucks down. They tip pucks. They just make it difficult to make plays. That's the challenge of playing in the playoffs and playing against the top players and top teams, finding a way through that. And guess what? They weren't able to do that. That Barkov-Reinhart line, those two guys together are just, that's hell for these guys to go up against when you're trying to put the puck in the back of the net and make some sort of offensive passes, do something, generate offense. They stopped them in their tracks. Paul Maurice Second period was the first block of time in this series that we looked to our identity. Correct. They did. He switched up those lines and they looked like the Panthers that play their winning style of hockey like they did in the first round against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Absolutely. And Brad Marchand on the overtime game winner, you could tell they were tired. They were just kind of sitting back, really just trying to change the angle and get a better shot. In overtime, there's no bad shot. And man, he was right. Again, he did get lucky because that did knuckle in there because it bounced off of a defender. But hey, it doesn't matter. It still went into the back of the net, guys. So huge shot by him. My goodness, I didn't think that was going to go in because I saw it. I didn't really see it go into the back of the net until I saw people behind jumping up and I saw the light go on. So I had no idea that it actually went in. And Brad Marchand on the bonding and chemistry of being part of this Florida Panthers team. Remember, guys, he's been here since March. Coming in, everybody embraced me and welcomed me. I feel like I've built some really, really good friendships already in a very short period of time, and he has. These guys respect him. If any of you follow the Panthers on X or you follow Jameson Olive, he's the beat writer for the Florida Panthers, you will find a video on there. It seems like every night Brad Marchand gets the puck and he's handing it to one of his teammates to put on that wall of the winning wall. He seems to be the guy that they hand the puck to every time. And that, to me, is awesome. He's been accepted into this team. And for me, I know he's aging, but you cannot tell me the guy still does not have a hell of a lot of talent. From what I'm seeing on the ice, the way he skates, the way he controls the puck, the way he leads his team, the energy he brings, his style of hockey is Panther hockey. Yes, it was Bruins hockey. It was Bruins hockey. It is now Panthers hockey. He belongs on this team. I hope he stays after next year and has another couple of years left in those skates because, man, he has been such a big time bonus for this team, and he's just boosted morale on this team. So, on top of that, Marchand is the oldest player to score an overtime goal for the Florida Panthers in the playoffs at 36 years and 363 days. Awesome achievement. And you've only been on the team for a few months. Not even a few months, which is pretty remarkable. Just a couple of months, excuse me. So, a lot of things happened in that game. A lot of pucks bounced in the favor of the Toronto Maple Leafs. For instance, one of the goals that was coming out from the blue line, just a wrister. The one thing that Toronto does so well is just throw the puck at the net and hopefully it will go in and bounce off somebody, and it did twice. One of them was thrown towards the net. It was deflected by one of their own guys. And then it looked like it was going to go wide. Then it went off of Forsling's glove and into the back of the net. And the greatest thing that I saw, and they even said it on the broadcast, that Bobrovsky gave his guy, it was Forsling, a little tap on the shin, just be like, hey, man, you know what? Hey, it was not your fault. You know, it's going to happen. Those bounces didn't go our way. And I love seeing that. Instead of getting in his face, saying, what are you doing, whatever. He's supportive of his guys, and that's the one thing I love about Bob. He's not going to throw this on his teammates. He's going to say, you know what? We're going to move on. We can come and get this one back. That's awesome. The next one was, again, another just throw the puck at the net. They did. It went off of Seth Jones' skates, I think once or twice. I think it might bounce off the right foot, left foot, and then went in the back of the net, was redirected. Like I said, this game is a game of how the puck bounces and its luck. And sometimes that's just how it rolls. And unfortunately for the Panthers in the series, it's done that on several different occasions. But we're not talking about luck. And then also referees and stuff. I don't like talking about that because you know what? The referees are not going to be the ultimate game decider because there's other things outside of not missed calls or penalty calls that will cause your team to win or lose. It's the same thing in any sport. There are many plays that can be the reason why your team won or the reason why your team lost. Last night, it was just solid physical play, getting on that forecheck again, having a great goaltender between the pipes that made big saves when he needed to, guys. That is pretty much how it's been. And the best line, again, has been that third line. That Lundell, Lustranen, and Marchand line has been nothing short of just fire on the ice. 2 goals, 3 assists. Not 2 goals and 3 assists. That was the Barkov, Reinhart, Rodriguez line last night. They had 2 goals and 3 assists last night combined. It was 1 goal by Barkov, a goal and assist by Reinhart, and 2 assists by Rodriguez. So they stepped it up, which was great. And it was just an entertaining game. I loved it. I can't wait for game number 4 tomorrow on Mother's Day. So guys, again, the Panthers And Toronto Maple Leafs, we've got ourselves back into a series. 2-1, we are down. I have a feeling it's going to be 2-2 heading back to Toronto. And the scary part of this is if Paul Maurice has really figured out how to match up against this Toronto Maple Leafs team, line for line, what he did last night, and if he keeps doing that and throwing these knucklers at the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Leafs are going to be in trouble. They're battling back, and man, are they fast. But when the Panthers start playing physical and they get those lines matched up well with Toronto and they know how to stop them defensively, it is not going to be easy for Toronto to keep doing what they did in games 1 and 2. But I can't wait for tomorrow night. But guys, thank you again for joining me. I'm Greg Andrews. Subscribe, comment, like, share. I want to hear from you guys. Please be respectful. Again, I'm going to say it every single time I'm doing my episodes. Be respectful and comment. I will get back to you guys. Thank you so much for joining me and listening. I'll talk to you guys later, and go Cats.